Have you ever wondered why some people seem unshakable while others collapse under the same weight? The difference is not luck, it is not talent, and it is not destiny. It is focus. The strength you admire in others is not born from the outside world, but from an inner decision to turn inward, to build unbreakable clarity, to stop scattering energy across distractions and doubts. You are not weak because life is heavy. You feel weak because your attention has been stolen, spread too thin, given to everything and everyone except the one person who needs it most. You. Think about how much time is lost comparing yourself to others, worrying about their progress, fearing their opinions, chasing their approval. Each thought chips away at your energy, leaving you drained before you even take a step towards your own goals. Imagine if all of that energy, every ounce of it, was redirected back to you. Imagine the momentum you could build if the noise of the world stopped mattering. That is the secret the strongest people know. They don't win by controlling others. They win by mastering themselves. When you shift your focus inward, something powerful happens. Fear begins to lose its grip because you are no longer fighting battles that don't belong to you. Doubt begins to fade because your eyes are locked on your own path. Courage begins to rise because you finally see how much control you truly have. The storms of life do not disappear, but you stop being tossed around by them. You plant your roots so deep in self-focus that nothing can rip them out. That is where real strength is forged, not in escaping challenges, but in facing them with clarity and discipline. You have been told too many times that you need more motivation, more inspiration, more validation from the outside. But the truth is, you already have what you need. The problem is that your focus has been stolen by distractions that keep you from seeing it. Every scroll, every comparison, every wasted hour is a thief. The world profits when you are unfocused, but your life transforms when you take that focus back. And this is why you must stay here listening closely, because the next few minutes are not just words, they are a mirror that will show you the strength you have ignored, the potential you have forgotten, and the courage that has been waiting to rise inside you. If you walk away now, you go back to the noise. But if you stay, you will remember who you are meant to be. This is your chance to stop scattering your energy on things that do not matter and start building a foundation that no one can take from you. Self-focus is not selfish, it is survival. It is the path to strength, the shield against chaos, the key to freedom. Stay with me because every second that follows will guide you deeper into the power that only comes when your focus returns home to you. Strength is not built in the noise of the crowd. It is built in the silence you create when you choose to focus on yourself. Think about it. The loudest voices in your life are not always cheering you on. Some are doubting you. Some are distracting you. Some are silently hoping you fail so they can feel safe in their own comfort. If you let their voices guide you, you become a prisoner of their limits. But when you strip it all away and stand alone with your thoughts, you find the truth that has been waiting for you all along. You are far stronger than you realize. Every breakthrough you have ever experienced came when you stopped listening to what everyone else said and listened to yourself. That is when decisions feel clearer, actions feel lighter, and courage feels natural. This is not because the world suddenly changed, but because your focus shifted. What you give your attention to becomes your reality. If you pour it into fear, your world becomes heavy. If you pour it into comparison, your world becomes small. But if you pour it into yourself, your growth, your discipline, your vision, your world becomes powerful. That is the quiet revolution of self-focus. Too many people live waiting for permission. Permission to chase their dream. Permission to start again. Permission to believe in themselves. And so they wait and wait and wait until life passes them by. But strength does not wait for permission. Strength is born the moment you decide to give yourself permission. The permission to rise, the permission to fail and rise again, the permission to live without asking anyone else to validate your worth. That moment when you take ownership of your focus is the moment you begin to transform. And here's what happens when you choose that path. Your energy stops leaking into places that never deserved it. The weight of other people's expectations begins to lift off your shoulders. The anxiety of being judged begins to fade. Suddenly, the things that once felt impossible seem within reach. Not because the mountain got smaller, but because you finally stopped carrying the burden of other people's opinions up the climb. This is why the strongest people appear unstoppable. They are not lighter, they are freer. They are not gifted with less struggle. They are empowered with sharper focus. You may not see it yet, but inside you there is a reservoir of untapped strength. The only reason it feels hidden is because you've been searching for it in the wrong places. You've been looking outward, when all along it has been inward. Every time you turn your attention inward, on your habits, on your choices, on your discipline, you chip away at weakness and expose the strength that has been buried. And once you taste it, once you feel what it's like to be powered by your own focus instead of drained by the world's distractions, you will never go back. Stay with that thought for a moment. Imagine how your life shifts when self-focus becomes your natural state. Imagine waking up without fear of being behind because you're no longer running someone else's race. Imagine moving through your day with clarity because you've cut out the noise. Imagine standing in front of challenges with calm determination because your strength no longer depends on anything outside of you. That vision is not a dream. It is waiting for you, ready to be unlocked the moment you choose to return your focus to yourself. Clarity begins the moment you decide that your energy belongs to you. When you stop scattering it across endless distractions, you notice something powerful. Your mind sharpens, your emotions stabilize, and your actions gain purpose. Strength does not appear overnight. It builds layer by layer, decision by decision as you consistently turn your attention inward. Every time you choose to direct focus toward your growth instead of the noise, you are investing in a future that cannot be taken away. The truth is, most people never realize how much power they have because they spend their lives chasing validation that was never theirs to begin with. They scroll endlessly for a spark of worth. They compare their behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. They measure themselves against standards that were built to keep them small. No wonder they feel weak. They are feeding their energy into an endless cycle of comparison, draining themselves before they even begin. But you are not most people. You are here because something inside you knows there is more. Something inside you is tired of giving away your power and ready to reclaim it. When you shift to self-focus, you disrupt the cycle. You stop chasing after what does not matter and start creating what does. Every small act of focus compounds into strength. Waking up with intention, protecting your time, saying no when something doesn't align with your vision. These choices may seem small, but together they are the foundation of unshakable strength. Discipline, clarity, and resilience are not built by accident. They are built by directing focus where it belongs, on you. And here's the deeper truth. Strength is not just physical or mental, it is spiritual. It is the unbreakable connection between who you are and who you are becoming. When you focus on yourself, you align with that connection. You begin to feel a sense of certainty that cannot be explained but can always be felt. It's the calm in your chest when the world tries to pull you into chaos. It's the quiet confidence when others doubt you. It's the deep belief that no matter what comes, you are enough to face it. That is not arrogance. That is alignment. That is strength born from self-focus. The world will always try to pull your attention away because an unfocused mind is easy to control. Advertisements, comparisons, opinions, they are all designed to scatter you, to keep you chasing instead of building. But the moment you return to yourself, you break free. You stop living as a consumer of distractions and start living as the creator of your own path. That shift is the essence of power, no longer reacting to everything around you, but choosing deliberately, with clarity, with conviction. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine how unstoppable you become when you live like this. Imagine walking into challenges with calm strength. Imagine pursuing your goals without the weight of comparison. Imagine building a life where your focus is not stolen but fully owned. That version of you already exists. It is not far away. It is waiting beneath the surface, ready to rise the second you claim your focus back. The world does not need a distracted version of you. The world needs the focused, grounded, powerful version of you who knows where strength truly comes from. And that strength begins the moment you choose to center yourself completely. Strength grows in the space between what you feel and what you choose. Life will always bring pressure, doubt, and uncertainty, but your response is what defines you. When you are unfocused, every challenge feels like a storm that drags you under. But when your focus is rooted within, challenges transform into stepping stones. They no longer drown you, they lift you higher. This is not about denying struggle. It is about mastering it. You cannot control every wave, but you can always control where you place your attention. And the person who owns their attention owns their strength. There's a reason the mind resists self-focus. It feels easier to keep looking outward, blaming circumstances, comparing progress, waiting for the perfect moment. But those are traps that keep you from rising. The mind craves comfort, even when comfort is slowly draining your power. Strength demands something different. It demands that you pull your focus away from what is safe and redirect it toward what is necessary. It demands that you confront the truth of who you are and who you want to become without excuses. That confrontation is uncomfortable, but inside discomfort lies a doorway to transformation. Every time you choose to stay focused when it would be easier to give in, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the impulse to quit. Every time you silence the noise of doubt and keep moving forward, you strengthen your identity as someone who does not break. Strength is not measured in what happens to you, but in how you train yourself to respond. And training begins with focus. The sharper your focus, the deeper your resilience. The deeper your resilience, the more unstoppable your growth. Look closely at the moments when you feel weakest. They are not proof of failure. They are proof of where your focus has been misplaced. If you feel drained, it is because you have been feeding distractions. If you feel overwhelmed, it is because you have been carrying the weight of things that don't belong to you. If you feel stuck, it is because your attention has been scattered instead of directed. The solution is not more noise. The solution is returning to yourself, reclaiming your focus, and reminding your mind who is in control. This is why self-focus is not selfish. It is strength in its purest form. When you take care of your focus, you gain clarity. When you gain clarity, you make better choices. When you make better choices, you build momentum. And momentum, once it begins, is unstoppable. That is how people who once felt lost transform into leaders of their own lives. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait for the world to cheer them on. They simply chose to own their focus again and again until strength became their natural state.
Picture yourself carrying this kind of strength, not strength that depends on others noticing you,
but strength that radiates from within. A strength that cannot be shaken by gossip, setbacks, or doubt. A strength that stays steady even when everything else feels uncertain. That strength is already within you, waiting to be built, waiting to be claimed. The only step left is the choice you make right now. Will you scatter your attention again, or will you return it to yourself and let your strength rise? Real strength begins the moment you stop searching for it outside yourself. The world will always try to convince you that you need more recognition, more possessions, more approval to finally feel powerful. But deep down, you know that none of these things will ever be enough. They fade, they shift, they disappear the moment circumstances change. The only strength that lasts is the strength you build by focusing on who you are when everything else is stripped away. That strength cannot be taken because it is not borrowed from the world, it is forged within. This is why self-focus is liberation. It frees you from the endless cycle of needing and chasing. It pulls you out of the exhausting game of measuring yourself against others and anchors you in a place of self-trust. When you truly focus inward, you stop asking whether you measure up. Instead, you start asking a better question: how much closer can I get to my potential today? That question is where progress is born. That question is where power begins to multiply. You have seen how scattered attention drains you. Every time you place your worth in someone else's hands, you feel it slip away. Every time you chase the approval of people who don't even know themselves, you weaken your own foundation. But when you bring your focus back to yourself, you shift the entire dynamic. Instead of chasing worth, you build it. Instead of waiting to be chosen, you choose yourself. Instead of being distracted by what others are doing, you stay locked on your own growth. That shift is small in the beginning, but it becomes a dividing line between a life that drifts and a life that rises. Strength is not found in avoiding struggle. It is found in facing it with full focus. When you stop scattering your energy across things you cannot control, you suddenly have power to face the things you can. That is why the most disciplined people seem calm even in chaos. They are not immune to hardship. They are simply focused. They know that their energy belongs to their vision, their growth, their path, not to distractions, not to opinions, not to fear. That focus is their shield. That focus is their weapon. And here's the truth that will change everything for you. Your life will always follow your focus. If you pour it into doubt, you will live small. If you pour it into distraction, you will feel lost. But if you pour it into yourself, into your strength, into your growth, you will rise. This is not theory. It is reality. Every great transformation you have ever witnessed began when someone chose to stop giving away their focus and started channeling it inward. You have that same power right now. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself unshaken by distractions. Picture yourself moving forward with clarity, building strength that cannot be broken, carrying a quiet confidence that grows each day. That image is not far away. It is you once your focus returns home. And when it does, you will discover that strength was never something you had to find. It was always inside you, waiting to be built, waiting to be claimed. Strength deepens every time you choose to be present with yourself instead of escaping into distraction. The mind loves to run, to drift in the memories of the past or fears of the future, but real power is built here in this moment. When your attention is grounded, when you are fully present, excuses lose their grip, regret loses its sting, worry loses its weight. What remains is clarity, the kind of clarity that allows you to see the next step and take it with confidence. Presence and focus are inseparable, and together they form the foundation of resilience. Most people are not weak because they lack ability. They are weak because they lack presence. They are consumed by what has already happened or paralyzed by what might happen. They scatter their attention across endless possibilities until nothing gets done. But strength requires you to reclaim that energy, to pull it all back into now, where change actually happens. You cannot rewrite yesterday, and you cannot live tomorrow before it arrives, but you can own this moment. And if you own enough moments strung together with discipline and focus, you will own your life. Notice how your body feels when your focus is fractured. You feel restless, unsettled, drained before the day even begins. Then notice how your body feels when you bring all of your attention inward. When you silence the noise and commit to the present step, you feel grounded, you feel steady. That shift is not random. It is your nervous system responding to focus. Science proves that the more scattered your attention, the more stressed and powerless you feel. The more you focus inward, the calmer and stronger you become. This is why presence is not just a practice, it is power. Strength built on presence is unshakable because it is not tied to outcomes. Wins and losses will come, but they no longer define you. You are defined by the focus you bring to the process, by the discipline to show up fully, by the courage to face each moment without running. That kind of strength cannot be taken from you because it does not depend on circumstance. It depends only on your choice to stay focused. The world may change around you, but your center remains solid. That is how resilience is born. You have more power than you realize, but you will only see it when you stop scattering your attention across what you cannot control. The more you focus on yourself, your growth, your actions, your response, the stronger you feel. The stronger you feel, the more momentum you create. The more momentum you create, the more unstoppable you become. This is not a distant dream. This is a shift available to you right now. The moment you bring your attention back to the present and back to yourself, you step into strength that cannot be shaken. Take a breath and feel that truth settle within you. You do not need to chase strength, and you do not need to wait for it. It is already here, waiting for you to focus. Every breath, every choice, every step is an opportunity to build it. And with each moment you choose presence, you grow into the person you were always meant to be. Clear, grounded, powerful, unbreakable. Strength grows when you understand that your focus is your greatest currency. Every thought you invest either builds you or weakens you. Every choice to guard your attention either strengthens your foundation or erodes it. The people who rise in life are not always the most talented or the most gifted, but they are the ones who refuse to waste their focus. They treat it like fire, too valuable to throw at everything, too powerful to leave uncontrolled. When you learn to protect your focus, you stop feeding weakness and start fueling transformation. Think about the times you've poured your energy into things that gave you nothing back. Endless distractions, negative people, unnecessary arguments. Each one drained you, not because you were incapable, but because you gave away the one resource that determines everything, your focus. And the more you gave, the weaker you felt. That is why so many feel powerless, not because they lack strength, but because they spend on the wrong things. The moment you stop feeding what drains you, your strength begins to return. The moment you pour that same energy into yourself, Your growth accelerates in ways that once felt impossible. This is why focus is discipline. To guard it requires saying no to the things that steal your energy, saying no to the people who only take, saying no to the urges that pull you off course. Each no is not a loss. It is a declaration of strength. It is proof that you know your power is too valuable to be wasted. And with every no, your yes becomes stronger. Your yes to growth, your yes to clarity, your yes to becoming the person you were meant to be. The truth is that everything in your life is either sharpening your focus or scattering it. Environments, conversations, habits, they all shape the strength you carry. If you want to rise, you cannot leave your focus unguarded. You must decide who and what gets access to it. You must decide what deserves your energy. Because the person who controls their focus controls their destiny. This is not exaggeration. It is the reality of how power is built. And the beauty is you do not need to be perfect. You only need to be intentional. Every time you catch yourself drifting into distraction and bring your attention back, you train your mind to be stronger. Every time you resist the urge to scatter yourself across 100 unimportant things, you train your spirit to be more disciplined. Strength is built in these quiet victories, these moments when no one else is watching, but you choose to honor your focus anyway. Those victories add up until they form a version of you that cannot be shaken. Feel the truth of this. You do not need to chase strength. You need to channel it. It is already there, waiting in your focus. The same energy you once wasted is the same energy that will make you unstoppable if you direct it inward. When you claim your focus, you claim your freedom. And when you claim your freedom, you rise into strength that no one can touch. Strength becomes unshakable when you learn that focus is not just about what you give your attention to. It is also about what you refuse to give it to. Every distraction you let go of creates more space for growth. Every ounce of energy you withhold from negativity becomes fuel for progress. Power does not come from adding more to your life. It comes from removing what weakens you until what remains is pure, steady, and unstoppable. This is why clarity feels so liberating, because strength lives in simplicity, not in chaos. Your mind is always asking for direction, and if you do not guide it, the world will. Screens, noise, gossip, endless comparison, they are all designed to hijack your attention. The moment you allow them in, you begin to drift, and with drifting comes weakness. But the moment you say no, the moment you reclaim authority over where your attention goes, you create alignment. And alignment is power. It is the state where your thoughts, actions, and vision all move as one. In that state, your strength multiplies and progress becomes inevitable. This is the discipline most people avoid because it feels uncomfortable at first. It feels unnatural to disconnect from the constant noise. It feels strange to step away from validation and stand firm in your own silence. But that silence is not emptiness. It is the ground where strength is built. In that silence, you hear your own thoughts clearly. You see what truly matters. You reconnect with your vision, and what once felt like emptiness becomes the most fertile ground for growth. When you strip away distractions, you discover how powerful your focus truly is. 1 hour of undivided attention can accomplish more than 10 hours of scattered effort. One moment of deep clarity can shift the course of your entire path. This is why strength does not belong to those who are the busiest. It belongs to those who are the most focused. Busyness scatters, focus builds. And the one who builds with consistency day after day becomes unshakable. The secret to rising is not to outwork everyone else, but to outfocus them. Work guided by focus has power. Work guided by distraction is wasted energy. Every great achievement is not the result of random effort. It is the result of concentrated energy directed with clarity. And you hold that same potential within you right now. The only question is whether you will protect your focus or keep giving it away to things that do not serve you. Strength grows in the quiet commitment to choose yourself over and over again. Not in arrogance, but in truth. Not to ignore the world, but to lead yourself within it. Because the more focused you are on your growth, the more valuable you become to everything around you. Your relationships strengthen, your work improves, your presence inspires. When you focus on yourself, you are not abandoning the world. You are preparing yourself to impact it with greater force. Breathe in the reality of this. You are not powerless. You have never been powerless. You only needed to return your focus home, to stop scattering it across what doesn't matter, and to start channeling it into what does. The moment you do, strength rises, not as a temporary spark, but as a permanent fire that fuels everything you are becoming. Strength becomes unstoppable when your focus is no longer negotiable. The world will always try to test it. There will always be temptations, interruptions, and distractions pulling you away. But each time you stand firm, each time you choose to remain centered, you prove to yourself that your vision matters more than the noise. That proof builds confidence. That confidence builds resilience. And resilience is the essence of true strength, the ability to keep moving forward no matter what stands in the way. The mind thrives when it has direction, but it suffers when it is scattered. Without focus, even the strongest will feels fragile. You can have dreams, but they remain distant. You can have energy, but it gets wasted. You can have potential, but it lies dormant. Focus is the bridge that connects what you imagine to what you achieve. Without it, strength cannot grow. With it, even the impossible begins to bend. That is why the greatest battles you will ever fight are not against others, but against the distractions that try to claim your focus. Every moment you choose focus, you are training yourself to rise above impulses that keep most people trapped. The urge to give up, the urge to complain, the urge to compare, they are all weakened when your attention is anchored. You no longer chase the quick release of instant gratification. You build the deeper satisfaction of long-term strength. That is a victory few achieve because it requires consistency. But those who do it become unstoppable. They are not swayed by moods. They are not broken by setbacks. They are guided by focus, and that focus creates momentum that no obstacle can match. Understand this. Strength is not an accident. It is not a gift handed to the lucky few. It is the result of thousands of small choices to return your attention where it belongs. Every morning you wake up and protect your focus, you grow. Every time you push aside a distraction and stay committed, you grow. Every moment you refuse to give away your energy to things beneath your vision, you grow. The growth may not always be visible, but it is always real. And eventually, it becomes undeniable. The people who seem unshakable are not without struggle. They simply refuse to let their focus be stolen. They guard it with discipline because they know it is the root of their power. And that same discipline is available to you. The same strength is within you. You do not need to wait for a perfect moment because strength is not built in perfection. It is built in choice. Choice repeated until it becomes identity. Identity repeated until it becomes destiny. Feel that truth settle within you. You are not waiting to become strong. You are already becoming stronger each time you choose focus. Each time you pull your energy back from the noise, you create a future that is solid, grounded, and unshakable. Your power is not found in what you dream. It is found in what you direct your attention to right now. And when that attention belongs fully to you, nothing can stop the strength that rises from within. Strength expands when you realize that focus is not only about guarding against distractions, but also about directing your energy with purpose. A focused life is not just free from noise, it is filled with intention. Without intention, focus becomes passive. With intention, focus becomes a weapon. It carves a path where there was none. It creates progress where there was once stagnation. It transforms ordinary actions into building blocks of extraordinary growth. Every day you are faced with a choice. Scatter your attention on what is urgent or center it on what is important. The urgent always screams the loudest. Messages, notifications, demands from others. But importance is quieter. It waits for you to notice it, to honor it, to give it the attention it deserves. Strength is born when you choose importance over urgency, when you give your energy to what builds you rather than what merely consumes you. That shift may seem small, but it is the difference between a life of reaction and a life of creation. Your strength is measured by the consistency of your focus. Anyone can lock in for a moment. Anyone can feel motivated for a day. But strength comes when you show up again and again, even when the excitement has faded, even when the path feels heavy, even when no one is watching. That consistency trains your mind to see distractions for what they are, traps that steal your future. And every time you reject those traps, your discipline sharpens, your resolve deepens, and your strength grows. The truth is that no one rises without sacrifice. If you want strength, you must let go of what weakens you. If you want clarity, you must release what clouds you. If you want focus, you must be willing to cut away everything that scatters you. At first, it feels like loss. It feels like giving something up. But in time, you see it for what it really is, freedom. freedom from the weight of carrying what was never meant for you, freedom to direct your energy only to what matters most. That freedom is the soil where true strength takes root. When you live this way, you no longer chase validation. You no longer need constant reassurance. Your strength becomes quiet, steady, undeniable. It shows in the way you move, the way you decide, the way you face challenges without flinching. Others may not understand it, but they will feel it. They will sense the power of someone who has mastered their focus. And mastery is available to you the moment you decide that your energy is too valuable to waste. Take this in deeply. Your life is built from where you place your focus. Your strength is built from the choices you repeat. If you continue to scatter your energy, you will feel scattered. But if you continue to center it, you will become centered. This is not about perfection. It is about persistence. The more you persist in guarding and directing your focus, the more unstoppable you become. Strength is not waiting for you somewhere in the distance. It is being built right now, every time you choose to focus on yourself and your vision. And with each choice, you step closer to the unshakable force you are destined to be. Strength reveals itself most clearly when you stop chasing everything at once and give yourself fully to what matters most. A divided mind cannot create an undivided life. The more directions you try to run, the more fragile you feel. But when your focus converges, when all of your energy moves toward one purpose, you become unstoppable. Power is not in doing everything. It is in doing the right things with absolute conviction. Every dream you hold requires sacrifice, not the sacrifice of your worth, but the sacrifice of your distractions. You cannot build something great while feeding everything that weakens you. You cannot rise if your attention is chained to things that drain your energy. This is the cost of strength, not the loss of yourself, but the loss of what never served you in the first place. And though it feels heavy at first, it is the weight that builds your muscles, the pressure that creates your power. The truth is, your focus has always been shaping you. Every thought you feed grows stronger. Every habit you repeat becomes identity. Every choice compounds into momentum. If you want to know who you are becoming, look at where your attention goes. Weakness and strength are both built the same way through repetition. One drains you, the other raises you. And the decision between them lies not in chance, but in where you direct your focus today. Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. It is the devotion to your higher self, the part of you that knows what you are capable of becoming. Each time you resist distraction, you are honoring that self. Each time you commit to the task before you, you are proving to your future that you are ready to carry it. That proof builds belief, and belief builds strength. You stop wondering if you are capable and start living as if you already are. That shift is where confidence is born, not from words, but from action aligned with focus. The world may never understand the discipline you choose. It may mock your silence, question your choices, or call your focus obsession. But strength does not come from being understood. It comes from being aligned. When you know why you are focused, when you feel the purpose burning inside you, the noise fades into irrelevance. You no longer need the approval of the unfocused. You no longer seek validation from those who never built their own strength. You carry something deeper, a self-trust that no one can shake. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a life waiting for you when focus is no longer negotiable. Imagine the projects you will finish, the skills you will master, the challenges you will overcome. Imagine the calm you will carry because you no longer feel pulled in 1,000 directions. That life is not far. It begins the moment you stop scattering yourself and start channeling everything into growth. That choice will feel difficult, but difficulty is proof you are in the right place, because strength never comes from ease. It comes from the focus that endures through challenge and builds a foundation that cannot break. Strength is born in silence, in the quiet places where no one is watching and no one is clapping. It is in those hours where your choice is simple, focus or drift. Most people drift, surrendering their lives to endless noise and endless distraction, but you are not most people. You feel the pull of something greater, the whisper that tells you your life was not meant to be scattered in fragments. You were made for depth, for clarity, for the kind of focus that transforms not only what you do, but who you are becoming. When you give yourself to distraction, you trade your future for comfort. The scroll, the chatter, the endless comparison, it feels easy in the moment, but it steals the very strength you are trying to build. Yet when you return to focus, when you choose the hard path of presence, you take back your power piece by piece. And in that moment, you rise above the noise. Focus is rebellion against a world designed to steal your attention. It is the purest form of courage because it demands you face yourself without escape. Do not mistake strength for intensity alone. Strength is not about burning fast and collapsing. It is about consistency, the daily choice to honor your priorities even when it feels boring, even when no one notices, even when quitting seems easier. Every small action you repeat with focus becomes a brick in the fortress of your life. Each brick feels insignificant in isolation, but over time they create walls that cannot be broken. This is why consistency built on self-focus outlasts bursts of energy driven by impulse. True strength is endurance in disguise. Your future self is not a stranger. It is the result of the choices you make now. Picture yourself 5 years from today. Will that version of you thank you for the focus you practiced or resent you for the time you wasted? That question is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you. Because the gap between who you are and who you want to be is not as wide as it feels. It is only as wide as the distance between distraction and discipline, between noise and clarity, between scattering and focusing. Close that gap and your future transforms. Every moment you return to your focus, you are not just building skill or achieving tasks. You are rewiring your mind. Neuroscience proves that attention shapes the brain. What you concentrate on strengthens neural pathways, carving patterns of mastery into your identity. This is not abstract. It is physical. Your brain literally builds strength when you direct it toward growth. And the more often you choose focus, the easier it becomes. Discipline that once felt heavy turns into momentum that carries you forward without resistance. Think of the power you already hold, the ability to choose what to give your attention to. No one can steal that choice unless you hand it over. And every time you reclaim it, you remind yourself that you are not weak, you are not scattered, you are not lost. You are becoming sharper, stronger, more resilient. You are learning that freedom is not in doing everything, but in focusing on the things that truly matter. This is where strength is forged, not by chance, not by luck, but by the fire of focus that burns away everything that does not serve your purpose. Strength deepens when you stop treating focus as something temporary and begin to see it as a way of living. It is not about moments of clarity scattered between distractions. It is about creating a life where clarity becomes the foundation. Focus is not an event, it is an identity. When you decide that you are the kind of person who guards their attention, who chooses discipline over impulse, who protects their energy from waste, you transform the very way you move through the world. You stop waiting for motivation and instead anchor yourself in a standard that never shifts. There will always be temptations to pull you away, forces that try to scatter your mind and fracture your progress. The world rewards quick reactions, surface level engagement, and shallow effort. But strength does not come from being everywhere at once. Strength comes from the stillness of knowing where you stand and from the courage to hold that position no matter how loud the noise becomes. When your life is guided by focus, you stop chasing what is fleeting and start building what is lasting. You begin to notice how little you truly need in order to grow because your energy is no longer diluted. It is concentrated like fire. The mind that focuses is the mind that heals. Anxiety fades when you give yourself fully to the task before you. Fear loses its grip when you stop projecting into the future and anchor yourself in the present. Self-doubt weakens when you replace endless rumination with intentional action. Every time you choose focus, you are not just building results. You are repairing your relationship with yourself. You are proving that you can trust your own choices, that you can stand firm against distraction, that you can create direction even in chaos. There is a quiet power that grows when you focus consistently. You begin to realize you do not need constant validation because your progress itself becomes the proof. You stop measuring yourself against others because your energy is invested in becoming better than you were yesterday. That inner competition, rooted in focus, is the only battle worth fighting. It removes envy, it silences comparison, and it reminds you that your strength is not dependent on anyone else's pace. You are building something that belongs only to you. Psychology teaches us that where attention goes, energy flows. This is not just theory, it is a truth that can shape your entire life. If your energy is divided, your growth is divided. But if your energy is centered, your growth multiplies. The secret to strength is not doing more, but focusing deeper. This is how progress accelerates, not through endless efforts scattered in every direction, but through consistent focus that compounds over time. You are not behind. You are not late. You only need to decide that your attention belongs to you and that every choice from this moment forward will reflect that truth. Imagine the force you will unleash when focus becomes your nature. Imagine waking up with clarity instead of chaos, moving through your day with discipline instead of distraction, ending your nights with fulfillment instead of regret. That life is not distant. It is waiting for you to claim it. The strength you are searching for is already inside you. All it asks is that you focus long enough, hard enough, and consistently enough to bring it to life. Strength reveals itself most when you realize that focus is not about narrowing your world, but about expanding your potential. By choosing where to direct your attention, you are not cutting yourself off. You are unlocking a depth of growth that scattered energy could never touch. This is the paradox most people never understand. The more you focus, the more freedom you create. Freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from living a life that feels half-lived. Focus is not a prison. Focus is the key to unlock a life of purpose. The people who achieve lasting transformation are not the ones who dabble in everything, but the ones who go all in on what matters most. They are not distracted by noise, not swayed by trends, not consumed by what others are doing. They carry an inner compass that points them back to their path again and again. That compass is built through focus, through the daily discipline of choosing clarity over confusion, direction over drift. When you strengthen that compass, you no longer feel lost. Even when storms come, you know how to return to your center. That certainty is strength in its purest form. Every distraction you resist is a deposit into your future. Every hour of focus compounds into momentum that no one can take from you. It does not matter how small your actions feel in the moment. A single page read, a single workout finished, a single project advanced. These are not isolated efforts. They are seeds, and focus is the soil that allows them to grow into forests. Scattered energy leaves seeds to die. Focused energy multiplies them into abundance. Strength is built in these unseen moments, in the quiet discipline that others overlook. There will be times when the weight feels unbearable, when distraction tempts you with the promise of relief. But that relief is counterfeit. It gives you comfort now and steals your power later. The real relief comes from knowing you honored your focus, from looking back and seeing proof that you stood firm.